Does everyone remember when the Power Rangers lost?
To be continued next season, Power Rangers in Space.
No, not that time. I'm talking about the original series, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Well, technically I guess season 3, but where Master Vile, he reversed the Earth's rotation, and then the Rangers were kids. So they had to call on this Ranger team that I really like, called the Alien Rangers of Aquitar. Which, not saying I like them and they're my favorite Ranger team, just know I'm implying that. But yeah, that's who we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be recapping the history and everything they have done, from, teaming up with Zeo Rangers, fighting Rita and Zed's monsters, and even fighting in a legendary battle to save the universe. So enough hyping it up. Let's get on into it. The Alien Rangers of Aquitar are, surprise, surprise, from Aquitar, a planet in our solar system, at least in the Power Rangers universe. It is a world full of water, having bubble-like structures as houses, or anything really. That doesn't really have to be houses. Anyway, its native species is the Aquitions, with them having some sort of helmet, or maybe their brain is exposed. I don't really know. Of the Aquitions we've seen, they've all worn these robe things with, like, I don't know, I guess you could call it a robe, yeah, with like an undershirt of unique color. And we know of at least 6 Aquitions in the main universe. That is Orico, the Red Ranger of the Alien Rangers, Delphine, the White Ranger and leader of the Alien Rangers, Sestro, the Blue Ranger and the brains of the Alien Rangers, Corcus, the Black Ranger of the Alien Rangers, Titus, the Yellow Ranger of the Alien Rangers, and Sestria, who's not a Ranger, but she's the only other Aquition we know of that has a name and isn't a Ranger. We also see one Aquition in Power Rangers Time Force in the year 3000, and also in SPD twice, once in the background training and another as an instructor, presumably 2 different people. Outside of the main Power Rangers universe, however, we know of one other Aquition from the Power Rangers Prime universe. I don't know how to say this name, so forgive me if you pronounce it differently. Marcon Zhao, the Prime Blue Ranger. Although technically he is a hybrid Alien Ranger, or not Alien Ranger, but Aquition. He's a human and an Aquition, so I guess they got together. So, I don't know. Now that we've been introduced to the Aquitions, we can tell the story of them. And it all starts, well, we don't really know when this was, but years before Mighty Morphin Power Rangers began, Ninja gifted 5 Aquitions Ranger powers, and Battleborgs as well, based on those powers. Though not confirmed, Ninjor probably based the Ninja Zords off of the Battleborgs, maybe even basing the Battleborgs off of the ancient Zords of Zordia. Anyway, sometime later, Zordon met the Aquitions, and even more time later, Zordon called upon the Aquitions after Master Vile reversed the Earth's rotation and turned everyone into kids. Unless you were really old, then you were just turned into adults, which is why there are adults in that series. Anyway, the Aquitions answered the call and arrived on Earth and to help the de-aged Rangers fight Master Vile. They fought a group of monsters set down Master Vile, with the monsters growing, so they summoned their Battleborgs from Aquitar, using what many fans believe is their power coins. Instead of using the standard controlling of the Zord, using a cockpit, the Aquition Rangers use telepathy to control their Zords. Though sometimes they can be shown to not fully be able to control them, whether that be them losing focus or just poor technology. We'll never really know. The Aquition Rangers were given control over the Shogun Zords as well during their time on Earth. And with the combined power of both Zords, they were able to defeat one of the monsters, and then the rest of them just kind of retreated. The Mighty Morphin Rangers were glad the Aquition Rangers helped, but the Aquition Rangers have to go back to Aquitar in order to recharge, as they can't go too long without water. The Aquition Rangers would continue to go back and forth between Earth and Aquitar for some of the series, until the Mighty Morphin Rangers went on their Zeo quest, except the re-aged Billy, who stayed behind with the Aquition Rangers. The Aquition Rangers are able to stay on Earth for longer periods of time if they recharge with the Earth's water, but since it's not as pure as Aquitar's water, they eventually have to go home. But they normally will do it in groups, so 3 of them will go, 2 of them will stay, as to not leave the Earth defenseless. The Aquition Rangers stay and fight off Rita and Zed's forces until all the Mighty Morphin Rangers come back with all of their Zeo subcrystals. except Aisha, who sent Tanya Sloan in her place, and Aisha stayed in Africa to help the animals. Once the Zeo crystal was reassembled, the power of it returned the Earth to its normal time period and re-aged everyone to their normal age. The Mighty Morphin Rangers go to say goodbye to the Alien Rangers, with their services not being required anymore. However, right after the Alien Rangers left, the command center was blown up, but they didn't really know about this, so there's nothing they could do. The Equestrian Rangers return 2 more times. Technically 3, but I'm going to call it like 2.5. The first one is Rangers of Two Worlds, one of the main appearances they have outside of their series, where they helped the Zeo Rangers return Billy to his normal age, having aged up due to side effects from his recharging and the command center exploding. The Equestrian Rangers also team up with the Zeo Rangers to fight off against 2 monsters, one from Rita and Zed, and one from the Machine Empire. It is during these episodes that we are introduced to Cestria, a friend of Billy from his time on Aquitar earlier in the season. The Equestrian Rangers head home with Billy, helping him de-age, but Billy decides to stay on Aquitar. The next time we see the Alien Rangers is during Power Rangers in Space, specifically in the episode Countdown to Destruction, where they are seen fighting Divatox's forces on a planet during the United Alliance of Evil's attack on the universe. But the Alien Rangers don't actually stand much of a chance, and they get captured, presumably due to the fact that they ran out of energy from not being able to absorb any water. However, they are freed when the Z-Wave destroys Divatox's army, except for Divatox, who is actually purified. And then the Rangers would appear one more time as a team, but none of the actors returned, although I guess it's the same for Countdown to Destruction. But I count Countdown to Destruction more than this one, which is Legendary Battle, where they just kind of appeared with all the other Legendary Rangers to fight an army of Exports and Bruisers. While that was the last time the team appeared as a team, there were 2 other times that they appeared, but not all together. One of them was during Power Rangers Zeo, actually, during Graduation Blue, where Cestro comes to Earth and needs Billy's help on Aquitar. He goes back home with Billy, unfortunately never morphing, which is a missed opportunity in my opinion. The other time a member appeared alone was in Forever Red, where Orico appeared with the rest of the Rangers to fight off the remnants of the Machine Empire. However, his actor was not able to return, so he's never seen on Morph and is dubbed over by Christopher Glenn. And that's it. That's the history of the Alien Rangers of Aquitar. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I actually really like the Alien Rangers, so I was really glad to make this video. Finally being able to talk about them. I don't know. I just like them. They're just cool, I think. And I like all the characters. My favorite, by the way, Orico. I know it's basic, the Red Ranger, but like he's just my favorite, okay? But yeah. They also, just so you know, they are making an appearance in my next rewrite series, which is Changing of the Zords, in case you... No, it is a different shade of pink. I even forgot. It's a different shade of pink. Instead of, like, what did they do? They did a Ranger Catastrophe. I think then they did Changing of the Zords. Then they did that Taxi episode. And then they did a different shade of pink. But I'm just going to do a different shade of pink. You know, doesn't have... I love Amy Jo Johnson as Kimberly, but, you know, I'm not going to rewrite 10 episodes. I'll rewrite 6. Because I am doing... Both of them are going to get 3 parts. Even though I think a different shade of pink only got... No. One of them only got 2, I think. Right? Because, no, a Ranger Catastrophe is the one that got pink. Or one that got 2. Anyway, I'm rambling. As I said, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so I know you did. And let me know if there are any other Ranger teams you guys want me to talk about. As I would love to talk about more Ranger teams. I love rambling on about this stuff. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.